Hi guys, Skypoint here. Now, the new neutral cards have just been dropped in the game, so as always, we're going to take a first look at all of them. So, I'm going to be starting off with the Chaos Neutrals. So, my reveals video had focused on the Chaos Neutrals, but we'll be taking a look at those once again. So, let's start. So you can see here, all the cards which I don't have are highlighted in, well, are not highlighted, so makes it easy to go through that. Thanks for whoever it was who gave me that tip in the last Neutrals review video that I had made. Alright, so we're going to start with Underhive Tunnels. So this is a, there we go, this is a tactic. It's 0 cost and it gives Duplicitous to a friendly infantry. So this is kind of similar to Escape Vent, which is 0 cost and gives stealth, except you can see here Escape Vent gives stealth until only the next turn, and stealth protects you basically against all targeted abilities as well as all enemy units. Duplicitous protects you only against the enemy warlord and the enemy warlord's targeted abilities. So it's not quite as good as Escape Vent, but Duplicitous stays until the unit acts or attacks. So what that means is if you give this, especially in early game, to a unit with a great passive ability, like Jubak Starsight for example, it probably is going to help him stay around for at least one more turn because he won't take any damage from the enemy warlord. So I think this is a pretty good card and it's going to see a fair bit of use. Okay, before we go on to my other reveals, let's start with some of the new ones. Forbidden Library. Choose one Chaos Tactic and add it to your hand. It costs 1 less for each cultist that you control. So that's really interesting. So choose one means you're going to get a choice of 3 and you pick one, and it costs 1 less. So if we were to take a look at the Chaos Tactics, let's see here, will that filter it? No, maybe not. Boo. Alright, let's do it this way then. There's a fair number of useful ones. Seek and Destroy, Void Engagements, Silent Death for stuns. But they're a little bit all over the place. There's some which are less popular, like Possess, Warrior Lodge. Let's take a look here. Well, that's a unit. Arguably Eightfold Brand. So I don't know, like it's a little bit all over the place. You might get something great and useful like Artillery Strikes, Defense Satellites, Rain of Fire, Volcanic Instability. So maybe you'll get some cheap area cards. You might get a cheap Apotheosis, but you might get something really less useful. I'm not sure about that card. Alright, let's go back to the list over here. On the other hand, it is quite cheap. So basically, if you're getting if you have at least 2 units in play, this is essentially free because the discount pays for the cost of it. I don't know. I'm just 2 cultists in play. I mean, I'm just not convinced. Oh, by the way, one thing I forgot to mention, guys, is they did expand the list of cultists. So you can see here some, but not all of the old cultists. Oh wait, it looks like they've added it to everything. Oh yeah, they've added loads of cultist traits. As of yesterday they hadn't. It looks like they've added cultists to the rest of the Chaos Infantry line. Okay, most of the rest of the Chaos Infantry line. That actually makes some of the new ones a bit more useful. Alright, so Forbidden Library. I'm going to try it out. I'm not expecting great things. As I said, there's just far too many very cheap tactics as well. And I mean, there's far too many tactics which aren't that great. And there's far too many cheap tactics in the Chaos lineup. I don't know, man. Alright, let's see here. So, next up, Tucholka Engine. Choose one troop from your deck and draw it. Interesting. So this will actually work best once you have a line set up. And you'll be able to add one more troop which complements you best. Very situational, because if you draw this card while you don't really have... I don't know. It just feels a little bit too situation dependent. I love the artwork on it though. If you know from the lore, the Tucholka engine, it was sort of a demonic engine, I guess, and the Dark Angels were using it to get answers, but it was based around the body of a child, so that was actually pretty cool. Alright, anyhow. I'm not convinced by Tuchelka engine. Maybe if you have card draw problems, it's okay. I don't know. Ugh. Alright, next up, Undercover Cultist. This was from my reveal video. I like this guy. The Duplicitous and average stats, that's already worth it. Oh, they've changed him from my reveal video, though. It's no longer a free ability. I guess as they've increased the number of cultists now, you have to pay 1 energy, but that's still pretty good. Drawing a unit out for 1 energy is nice and cheap. Cultist Brute is from my video as well. So when a friendly cultist attacks, gain +1 attack and health. My gut feel is that it doesn't say when another friendly cultist, so I think he will get a buff when he attacks, meaning if he's hitting the enemy warlord, he's actually only losing 1 point of health instead of 2. Assuming he's already gained health by that point. Interestingly. Alright, this guy has possibilities. I like the idea of him. Alright, next new one is another epic. It's the Watchers in the Dark. So stealth, jam a random non-structure enemy troop. Okay, gentlemen, this is a card people have been waiting for. They've wanted anti-ward and anti-precognition for a long time. Watchers in the Dark is great. If you have these guys lurking around on the board and the Space Wolves play one of those annoying troops with ward, you can jam it and get rid of that. And similarly, it will work against a lot of the other annoying units on the board. So, not just ward or precognition, but units with powerful abilities or buffs. This is an excellent card, and Chaos decks will definitely want to include this. Because it's infantry, it's going to have a lot of synergies with a bunch of other Chaos abilities out there. So this is a really good card. Outraged Nobles. This is a Calibanite low noble, so he's got Duplicitous. And reduces the cost of your next infantry by 2 for free. So this is great. You put this guy on the board, the enemy warlord can't hit him, and the next turn he's going to help you get more troops out. Very, very good card. Oh, and just as before, because it's a Chaos Infantry, it's got good synergy with other cards which help Chaos Infantry. Renegade Knight. Okay, so let's take a look at this. This is from Caliban as well, so he's also Duplicitous. And Relentless, gain a Mark of Chaos. Now that's pretty cool. His stats are below average though, so I don't like that. 5 energy, he's a little bit too easy to kill. But maybe pop a escape vent or something on him, and if you get lucky with your Marks of Chaos, he might last long enough to become something very mean. This will probably work well with Ingathel as well. She can throw a Mark of Chaos on him straight away, followed by him popping it up. So actually with Ingathel, this guy would get... With Ingathel and a few lucky cards, he could turn into a demon in 2 turns. Could be useful. Alright, so that's... Oh wait, we have one more new card, the Corrupted Arcology. At the end of your turn, put a random 3-cost cultist in play. So this is almost exactly like the Imperial Arcology card, which comes in at... Where's it gone here? 7 energy. It has... The Chaos version has less health, and it doesn't put in anything in play when destroyed, but the unit it puts is better. Like a Calth Infantry is just a basic 2 attack, 2 health unit. This Chaos Corrupted Arcology will be putting into play a 3-cost cultist. So if we were to look at those 3-cost cultists, where are they gone here? You get a Cultist Brute, you could get a Cultist Sorcerer, not Ecratres, where else we have? You could get Ivelin's not a cultist, interesting. Cygnus Adept potentially. So I think the troops you can get are better out of that. Oh, well, Watchers in the Dark are not cultists either. So Corrupted Arcology is interesting. I want to see how it performs as part of a Chaos deck, really. Alright, so those were the new Chaos cards. Let's go on to Mechanicum. So with Mechanicum, we've got 4 new cards. So let's go ahead and take a look. So we've got Eta Pi O2. if you have a structure, gain frontline and +1. So this is obviously there, I think, because of the new knights in particular. Knights have a lot of structures, so this is just extra and quite cheap protection if you have a structure. Their stats become, if you do gain a structure, they become a frontline 2-3 unit for 1 energy, which is basically like the very handy, where's it gone, Siren 12th Regiment. Very popular card. 2 energy, has 2 attack, 3 health. This new Ida Pi 02 is basically like a half price Siren 12th Regiment if you have a structure already in play. Overall, not that great. Most of the time, by the time you have structures in play, it's getting into later game, and these guys are a little bit outmatched. They will work quite well, I think, for Iron Warriors, who have a lot of frontline generating abilities and tactics. Frontline structures already. Well, Iron Warriors, basically the barricades is what I'm getting at. The Iron Warriors throw out lots of barricades, which are structures, and so Tech Guard is a cheap way of getting an extra bit of frontline out as well. Okay, next is a tactic, Terraforming. Okay, this goes pretty well with that previous card. Draw a structure from your deck and reduce its cost by 1. Lots and lots of synergy with the knights, of course, but it's also going to be very useful because it's one of the most common and favorite structures in the game is, where's it gone down here? Mount Pharos. So if Mount Pharos is the only structure in your deck, or Mount Pharos and something like, okay, Arcology is a bad example. Zerial Storm's a vehicle or a structure? I think it's a vehicle. There's a couple of useful structures, so maybe for non-Knights decks as well, this could work out. Alright, let's keep going here. What else do we have? Tagmata Formation. Oh, this is Ornatov's. This is a cheaper Ornatov's Barge, basically. For each enemy, put in play a Mechanicum troop that costs 3 or less. Nowhere near as good as Ornatov's Barge. With Ornatov's Barge, the main draw, I think, is a possibility of getting Ogrins. And the Mechanicum have a lot of pretty poor, low-cost troops. So let's run through this. You might get Tech Servitors. You might get Arcadias. Epsilon Sigma is the only one which might be worth it. Oh, but Tagmata Formation doesn't even give them frontline, so it's not very protective. So you get the picture. Like, as I'm looking at the stats of a lot of these Mechanicum troops, their base stats, and you don't ever get rally abilities when they're played by a tactic. So their base stats are all pretty poor. Maybe Chi Epsilon is okay. Dark Engine Seer. There's nothing really great in the... Well, Sibilance, I guess, is the only one which is really good from that. But I think it's a little bit underpowered as well. This would be more of an event deck card. What's definitely not an event deck card is the Termite Assault Drill. So, you're playing this unit in your 7 energy turn. Next turn is your 8 energy turn. And what this will allow you to do is draw 2 infantries from your deck, give them flank, and then attack. So let's say the average infantry in your deck, or even Astartes, let's say the average unit in your deck has 3 or 4 attack. You'll get 2 of them, so that's 6 to 8 damage already, plus 5 damage from the Termite Drill attacking itself, and it still leaves 2 energy for something like your Warlord's ability or another tactic or unit. So I like Termite Drill. I think it's pretty useful. That brings us to the end. Oh wait, no, we have got one more. Why did that not show over here? Krias Venator, I haven't seen that here. Oh man, have I been missing units? I was looking for the stuff which wasn't highlighted, but for some reason in my collection, some things are there. Because I had counted 18 new cards before, but there's actually 20 apparently. Anyhow, let's take a look here. Krios Venator is a common, the 9 energy vehicle, so this is one for you desperate defense people. Deals 3 damage 3 times for 4 energy. That's not bad, especially if you're up against a warlord who's hanging out on his own like Angron. That's 9 damage for 4 energy, which is awesome. I think I like this unit. It's got average health for 9 energy, so it's worth including. Below average attack, but you're not playing this unit for its own attack stat. Alright, before we move on, let me just check to see if I see anything new in the Mechanicum line over here. Nothing else looks... Let's take a look. Anything else? Dark engines here, advanced schematics. No, the rest of this looks fine. Let me take one more look at the Chaos set to see if I missed anything here. Hoping I'm familiar enough with all the cards that something sticks out to me. Morning, Penalty Purge, Barbs of the Damned, Fate's Death we saw before. Checking the Ash Potion, Breach Screamers of Trap, Lookguard Cultists. Lookguard Cultists also have cultists now, by the way. Chaotica, Assist. Okay, no, I guess that was genuinely it. Alright, so that brings us on to the Imperial army, where I think there's going to be one more card that I'm missing. Great. I haven't noticed yet. Alright, well, let's just keep going through this. Okay, so let's start with Arvis Lighter. So this was already shown in one of the reveals videos. It's pretty useful though. The fact that you can choose what you need means it'll help you out in almost any situation. So it's a really good card. It's gonna benefit practically every single faction. Refilling 2 energy is the same as refilling, essentially, like it's gonna give you 1 more bonus energy back. I like the card, very good. It'll get included by a lot of different factions. The complete opposite is Avenger Fighter. So this is a card which is inferior to many of the cards in the game. As the reveal video which had it mentioned, it does do 2 damage, but its secondary effect will only trigger against one of the least common units in the game, vehicles. So I think this is going to be an event deck only card. It's not that great unless you desperately want to put in every possible damage tactic in your deck. Another legendary, Lord Malkiel. Okay, let's look at this guy. He's a Calibanite dude. He's got Duplicitous. And a handy little ability. Gain back 1 energy this turn. Early game, like, energy helps you just really dominate the match. And Lord Malkiel with Duplicitous is going to last long enough to use his ability probably at least once if you play him early on. Quite possibly twice, which will pay back his cost. And he'll certainly be forcing the enemy to think about how he's going to take this guy out. So I think he's a pretty good guy. You're going to see him getting used. Alright, next up we have... Oh yeah, I see where the last one is. Yeah, I see the last card for 20. Okay, next we have Discipline Master. Give frontline to a friendly infantry or Astartes. So this guy has very average stats for his cost, but he's basically Colonel Ornatov as a troop, right? So it's Ornatov's ability, 1 energy, give frontline. It's a bit more limited. Ornatov can give frontline to anything. This guy gives it only to infantry or troops. I think you're going to see him, despite being an Imperial Army card, being very popular with attempts to make Chaos Cultist deck, because he's going to be a good way of giving frontline to troops who the enemy normally will not want to hit. So I like this guy. I see some utility there for him. With 5 health, he's likely to survive long enough to actually be able to use his ability. Next we have Uncharted Territory. So choose 1 neutral faction and create 3 random cards. I think random effects on an expensive 4 energy card are not good. You might get some very bad choices. In this game, as Iron Duke noted, though, random effects tend to create legendaries, so some people will be trying this out. If it does turn out to have a bias towards rare and legendary cards, it might be worth doing, but it is very expensive at 4 energy. I just don't feel great about this card. Alright, but what we do feel great about is this thing, Defense Force. So it's a troop. And it's a very expensive troop. Comes in at 10 energy. In fact, sorry, it's disappearing off the bottom of the screen. So let's go down here and turn on all cards. and see it in all of its glory. Oops, that's a tactics filter. Alright, here we go. 7+. Defense force. So, it's the Imperial Army Infantry. It's common. It costs 10 energy and it only has 6 attack and 6 health. But, this is the Death Shroud for the masses. So, in case you're wondering what I'm talking about, Death Guard have a very powerful troop. Comes in at 8 energy with 8 attack and 8 health. And whenever it gets killed, if you have no other troops, you put in copy another Death Shroud. So, Solar Auxiliary Defense Force. This is Death Shroud, but much more expensive, with poorer stats, and its backlash is not dependent on you having no other troops. So it basically means once you reach your 10 energy turn, you're guaranteed to have a 6 attack, 6 health unit all the time. That is extremely useful, extremely powerful, and this will probably be the most popular card from this expansion in my opinion. Partly because as a common, everyone will get it very quickly, but then also because it is very useful. Having a guaranteed presence on the board is going to help you out against so many different factions. It's not even a question about whether or not you want Defense Force in your deck. I have a feeling that this is going to be need nerfing. It would be ideal to have that Death Shroud condition of only respawning if you don't have any other troops in play, but we'll need to give it a bit of time and see how it shakes out. Because of Defense Force, I suspect jamming will become more popular, although of course when you have 2 Defense Forces in deck, it means that you'll need a fair bit of jamming in your deck to be able to handle these guys. Alright, well, that's all of the new neutral cards. Hope you guys found my opinions on these useful. We've got a new event starting, so I'll be trying to throw out a quick video showing some of those events, taking a look at that event and showing the factions. Actually, it'll be a stream, not a video. So in my channel, just make sure you've switched from looking at my uploads to looking at my live videos, and you'll hopefully find my thoughts and first experiences with the new event. Alright guys, hope you had fun with, hope you had a fun, I guess, watching this video, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Bye for now, everyone.